welcome to the Vegan Soul Sister. I'm Joey, and this is
Todd's Story with a Plant-Based Newbie.
Woo! Today we have Buffy with us, and I'm super excited to have her talk to you.
So I was raised with a lot of pork, a lot of fat, and a lot of sodium and vegetables.
So you were actually taught, like, brought into the kitchen and taught by Grandma?
My grandmother, yeah. I remember helping her from when I was 6. In the kitchen, everything that she taught me, everything that I learned about cooking, I learned from her. And from watching my grandfather eat.
Yeah.
Which was really very unhealthy.
So when you, like, do that face,
yeah.
She did that face. You guys saw it. Like, what were you thinking about? What was on his plate that you were specifically thinking about?
Fat. He would, I can specifically remember him pulling the fat off of ham to eat the fat. I mean...
So he pulled it off and then ate it separately?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's as uncommon as I wanted to think it is.
It's not, because, I mean, everybody else in my family did it, but I'm sure that's where it came from.
Right.
Him doing it. I know it's Southern.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I know that there are lots of other people that I know who did it.
Yeah.
It's just, you save the fat off of what you cook, and especially bacon fat. Save that fat, and then you cook everything else in the used fat. I can remember the sound of the squealing pigs as they were being killed.
Oh my gosh.
I remember dinigoan, which is the blood that they cook with it.
And remember, Shauna talked about that, and so we actually learned that word in Shauna's interview.
Right, growing up, that was a big thing. It was a special event if you had dinigoan in your plate, and the event of watching them cook the chicharrones, that was a big deal. I mean, it was special, it was fun, it was exciting if you were having fresh pig skin. So I remember not liking to hear the kill pig. I hated that sound. I can still imagine and hear the squeal and the when they kill a pig, the other pigs know what's happening, and you can sense that in the other pigs. That I remember the feeling that brings, and it's scary. But I remember the excitement in my family over having blood on the table, over having pig skin crackling and popping in the pots. Like, that stuff was very exciting. Totally different feeling than feeling the scared person that I was at hearing the killing.
So you remember, like, being
being upset about it, yeah.
And then did you have anybody to talk to about that?
Oh, no. I just would go inside the house and not, because I mean, the whole family was there. It was a big event, but I wouldn't go out there. But I remember watching the kitchen. The kitchen was bustling and exciting, and it was a big deal. Everybody was smiling.
Can you imagine that disparity happening? You know, knowing that you feel this compassion and sadness for this pig, and you feeling it, and then it's what's that word? Juxtaposition of this festive family fun, like, people are totally oblivious to that, yeah?
Yep.
And then, like, what do you as a person, how old were you? How old were you when this was happening?
I can remember this from when I was 6.
So from 6 years old, can you imagine? Because we talked a lot about kids in our interviews. So can you imagine what 6-year-old Buffy had to do in her mind to put these two completely polar opposite events together? I mean, that is profound to me. I mean,
well, I never really thought about it until you asked the questions.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't occur that you have a food story until you ask the right questions.
Right.
When I moved out on my own, I took a completely different turn with my eating. I had a food disorder. I went through a period where all I would have was Pepsis and Snicker bars.
Oh my
I
God.
literally binged Pepsis and Snicker bars. I cut out all red meats on my own.
When was that?
When I was 22.
Okay.
I was about 22. I cut out all red meats.
So as you're entering into young adulthood and really asking those questions of who am I, how am I going to eat, even if you're not consciously asking those, you're trying to find your way in life, and somehow you wanted to have that be healthier.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I wanted to make better choices, but you know, I grew up having a candy bar at the end of every day. My grandfather would stop at the store, buy me a candy bar, and I thought that was special and that was a treat.
And that's love.
And I deserved that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I wasn't
Wow.
good, I didn't get a candy bar.
Oh my God. Guys, talk about conditioning. Yeah. No, it totally makes sense.
So it took me a while to realize why I was doing Pepsis and candy bars. My grandfather, when he was at the end of his term, his dementia was pretty high. And I mean, looking back now, knowing what I know, I can see what a lot of that was attributed to. And it's sad because it could have been prevented. And as far as his health goes, he could have lived a lot longer, a lot better quality of life if he had changed a lot of his diet. And then when I look at my grandmother's side, we have diabetes, cancer, gout. I mean, all these things. You can look up and find that
It's
there's
directly, right?
directly linked into their diet. And had they changed their diet, I mean, I've lost. My grandmother has siblings, so many siblings, all lost to those diseases.
Well, it changes the
And
quality.
it doesn't just change the life for that particular person. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm watching my cousins, my uncles, you know, to have to struggle with visits to the hospital and having to take care medically, learning, you know, you have to learn from hospice how you're going to care for somebody when it wasn't part of what your life was set out to be.
Right. I met Buffy at Brave Fitness. And she obviously looks the way that she looks. She's super fit and super awesome looking. But her diet was atrocious.
The biggest moment, I heard you talking to somebody about me. And I can't even remember who you were talking to about me, but I remember you saying...
I talk about people all the time.
And I don't think you intended for me to hear this, but I heard it.
Oh, yay! What did I say?
You said to
This is
somebody,
terrible.
because I train the way that I do.
Yeah.
You had said to somebody, I bet you she could fly if she would just change her diet. And I thought you were like, yeah, okay, that's an exaggeration.
Oh my God, I am so awesome. Did you hear that? I hope that I really meant for her to overhear that, but I didn't. But that's awesome. So what did you think?
Do you know who you were talking to when you said
I have
that?
no idea. I have no idea, but I did think that about you, so it's legit that would have come out of my mouth. And I really try to don't think things that I wouldn't say out loud, which is why she thinks I have a terrible mouth. But, no! Okay, awesome. So you overheard that, and then what did you think?
And I thought you were like, okay, you're like really exaggerating. It couldn't be that great just to make a diet change. I mean, because I thought, even though I eat like a 12-year-old boy, I would choose chicken and fish over red meat. So I thought I was making pretty good choices. November 9th. It's not even 6 a.m. My day's training is complete. And I feel fabulous. Big mahalo to Joy Reese for the guidance and encouragement. And I remember when I was typing this, I was amazed. A workout that normally takes me an hour and 25 minutes took me maybe an hour, and I was not nearly as exhausted as I usually am, like going through it. And I just couldn't believe that's how I would feel. The month, I can feel the difference when I don't do as well.
Yeah.
When I choose to go have a burger instead, or to put the yogurt in my smoothie, it's a very different workout. And I feel biggest hurdle for sure was not wanting to give up my protein shakes. Athletes get it from a protein shake.
Yeah.
Until I saw other athletes.
That we all watched Forks Over Knives together. And, I mean, it's a phenomenal film. A lot of us have seen it. But the thing that stood out for you was none of the medical stuff, none of the, like, this saves your life stuff. No, none of that. What was it?
Mac Danzig. Mac Danzig, MMA trainer, MMA fighter. He is a vegan. Did it on his own by choice when he turned 18.
Yeah. So what did that mean for you? Like, he comes on the screen, and what does that mean for you?
For me, he's a mentor, somebody that I look up to as an athlete. and a trainer, I associate with his type of training most. So if he can train on a vegan diet,
Yeah.
the way he trains, then obviously it can be done. So I went home and that night I went home and I looked up vegan athletes online. Can I get that?
Yes.
So
she took notes.
so
this is how serious she is about what she does. I love it.
The thing that impressed me that I found, because I found, okay, so after Mac Danzig came out on Forks Over Knives,
Yeah.
Nick and Nate Diaz, they also went into, and these are also MMA.
Do you guys know who that is? I don't know who that is. MMA fighters, okay.
If you know MMA, you know Nick and Nate Diaz.
Okay.
Frank Mir and Matt Wyman, Jake Shields all went into plant-based dieting after Mac Danzig came out. He was the first one to come out.
So you found 7 other MMA athletes.
Fighters.
That's so awesome.
But I was looking up vegan athletes, and the one that stood up to me the most was, so there's an NFL, a Chicago player, 300 pounds.
Yes.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's Chicago Bears defensive lineman, David Carter. And if you look at him, you're not going to think this monster is a vegetarian, vegan, but he is.
Yeah.
And he is very vocal about being a vegan, which, I mean, for me, that was a big deal because it's a different type of training. And people associate football players in a completely different type of athlete.
Right.
But to see that he's a vegan and a vocal vegan was really impressive. And a female athlete that I found for myself.
Yeah.
Pat Reeves. So Pat Reeves, at the top of the age bracket that she was competing in, she's a powerlifter.
Oh, okay.
She was at the top of the age bracket when she broke world records.
Do you know what?
I don't know how old she was when she was
Just
competing.
Google that name if you guys are interested,
Yeah.
or put it in YouTube, I'm sure.
But for me, that was completely impressive because she was at the top of the bracket, and she broke all the records and took the titles as a vegan, a vocal vegan.
When we talked with Shauna, we talked about her strengths, which is what helped her. So she was super organized in the way that she went about it, right? So the same skill set that she had, she translated it, which helped her be successful, which is exactly what you did. She's like, I'm an athlete, and that was her question. Like, I don't know. But then she went out and researched other athletes that she could look to and look up to, connect with, so that in her mind she could say, I can do it.
People that I could look at their training and see that, okay, I do that in my training. That'll work for my breathing. It'll work for my body.
Right. So everybody needs to figure out what their tendencies are and what they're leaning towards. If you're making a huge change, we gotta lean on our skill sets, what we're good at. What advice do you have as somebody who had your heels dug in, really wasn't looking to make these kinds of changes? What would you suggest for them to try or to look at or to think about?
Take one thing out every day. Put something new in every day. Because that's how you got me to change my shakes.
I did.
Yes. So, took out the yogurt, put in the kale.
Yep.
Took out the orange juice, and instead I put in coconut water.
Yep.
I mean, just one small change every day. And you figure out what your palate, because your palate changes. So you figure out what works for you. But you gotta be willing to try. You don't have to like everything. You have to find what is good and keep that keep that list building.
True.
Because not everything, and you don't like everything that's in the sad diet anyway.
The standard American diet, right? The sad diet. Exactly. And that's what people forget is like, oh, I didn't like that, so therefore I'm not gonna try. Like, come on, be serious, be real.
I never would have considered eating lentils before I had dinner with you.
Now she's a lentilholic.
I really am. I have to make myself a big pot every couple of weeks, and I make it, I freeze it, and I eat it. But the other thing I would say is, if you're starting, be prepared, especially if you're going somewhere else. If you're going out, or you're going to a friend's house, know what everybody else is bringing. Bring something that you can have. If you're going out, check the menu before, because that's what I've been doing. Is I check the menu before and I figure out what's gonna work.
Yeah.
So my change is for my health reasons.
Yes.
So my children won't have such that struggle.
Yeah.
Like they already don't have to have that memory of a crying pig.
Exactly.
But I don't want them to also have like the struggle of learning how to go through chemo or
Right.
take the insulin. I prefer to make my changes so that they can have an easier life and not have to worry about those changes.
We were talking about, these food stories that get passed down to us without intentionally having some sort of moral. What you are doing is intentionally making changes so that your kids get this food as nutrition, food as health message.
Yes.
And that it's not just like a free-for-all.
Yep, right.
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome. That's really, it's...
And that free-for-all thinking,
Mm-hmm.
they saw me do that all
Right.
this time, but they see the changes now. I mean,
Like
they're
an intentional,
actively,
conscious,
yeah,
mindful change.
definitely.
Yeah. That's really beautiful.
It's great because I take them and they both still shop with me. They both see my dilemma in the store.
And it's longer to shop, right?
It takes a lot longer.
That's
And
one of
we
the
have
things
to shop. We're limited to where we can shop.
Yeah, you only have like 2 aisles at most in any store. You have to read all your stuff, so even though you have less aisles, takes more time.
Takes more time.
That's something that a newbie doesn't realize, I think, that you
Looking
learn.
at the labels. Check the labels first. I made that mistake the very first week.
Yep. Yeah, because the energy bar.
Yeah.
You're like, so I had an energy bar, and I said, did it have whey in it?
I had a great protein bar.
And it did, because a lot of them do. So you gotta read, and that's what a newbie probably needs to know, is that it's gonna take you longer to shop, so don't go hungry.
There are labels that are deceptive. You gotta look at the back of it.
Bring your reading glasses, because you know how tiny they are, and read. Yeah.
I would say be open-minded. I wasn't. Be open-minded to trying everything, at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been awesome getting to know Buffy and her story. If you have any questions for Buffy, make comments below. Subscribe down here. Make sure you like the video, right? Right. And then share it with the plant-based newbie, because that's who we want this information to go out to. Somebody who might be a Buffy in your life, who's digging their heels in.
Digging their heels in.
Yeah, but then come out the other end with some real significant changes for her life, but not only her life, but for her children's life. That's
people around me.
And people around you.
Yeah, but I don't say goodbye. I say see you later.
Oh, perfect. That means another segment with Buffy coming up some other time. So, thank you for watching.
Cause you win some, you lose some. But if you learn your lesson, you ain't lose none. I face a lot of tests.
Are you sure?
Sure.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Vegan Soul Sister. I'm Joey, and this is...
Talk story with the plant-based newbie.
Okay. Take 53.
Some, you lose some. But if you learn your lesson, you ain't lose none. I face a lot of tests, but I ain't lose